Welcome to the Sonia Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Great day, everyone. It is time for the Sonia Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Listen, we have a great show for you today. But first, let me give you the title. It's called There Is Life in You. But this is a part 2 from last week's show. And that title was called What Happened to It? So you want to go and take a listen to understand about the discussion for today. But before I go and dive into the discussion with the title There Is Life in You, I want you to take a look at this video I recorded on Saturday. And then we're going to dive into the discussion because it's going to be a doozy, so you want to stick around. The next part is going to be the video, and then I'm going to come back. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sonia Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Again, our title is called There Is Life in You. Listen, in the video that you just watched, I was showing you there was one plant that lived. Out of all 105 plants of seeds in those cups, only one plant lived. So I had to replant everything. But I did leave that one plant that lived, okay? And what I wanted to go in and discuss today in the show is, as you took notice, I was dumping the dirt and the dead plant into this bowl. And as I was dumping it, you saw the roots of that one plant that somehow manifested above ground. It had many roots. It took roots, so it was going to live. But as I was going through, I had already planted everything, but that was just one last row of plants, seeds of plants that I needed to plant this weekend. And what I noticed is, as I was dumping the dirt into the bowl, there were other seeds that was taking root, that was still growing, that needed to come above ground. And I want to share with you guys today because it's going to bless your socks off. It's going to bless, and it's going to actually cause you to realize a lot of things in our discussion today about your life and about the manifestations in your life. Now, as you saw in the video, the roots that had taken place from that one plant that had manifested itself above ground. But what was happening, because of that one plant died, the root of that plant was taking over all the seeds, the other seeds that was in the cup. Now, when I was planting the seeds, I didn't just plant one seed per cup. I had maybe 2 or 3 seeds in one cup. But only one of the seeds managed to come above surface. Well, that particular plant died. But when that plant died, the root of that plant that died that I could see, and if anybody else approached the cup, they could see. But that root and the plant that died was taking over the other seeds that was trying to live. As I was dumping all the dirt into the bowl, I noticed that the other seeds was taking root as well. But the other seeds could not come above surface only because the plant that appeared had died and it was choking the other seeds. It would have never lived. It would have never manifested. It was just manifested in the ground. Okay, I'm going somewhere with this because, as I had stated in last week's show, which is called What Happened to It, you got to go listen to it. I I explained a lot of details that nature and humans are pretty much the same kind of relevance and understanding how things work with us. Now, we're really an incubator as a seed sower. We have plenty of seeds that's in us. And I want to talk to you guys about what the illustration is about the video that I really want to just drive this point out to your life. As I stated before, the plant that appeared in the open manifested, it died. So I could not no longer leave those plants there dead because it would choke the other seeds that's trying to live and come out and manifest. Okay. So I had to uproot all those plants. I had to start all over. I could not risk the dead plant that had rooted already to choke out the good seeds that is planning to come above ground as manifestations, as fruit that I can live on, that others that I can share my vegetable garden with, but it could not live with dead fruits, a dead plant. And those roots, although the roots was good, they was deep, but they were choking the other seeds. Why am I talking to you about this? Because the dead plant that had appeared above ground had died, and the appearances that had died, but the roots were still there. And I know many times we say, I got to uproot things. I have to uproot it because my life is not going to flourish if I don't uproot things. This is a prime example of, in the video, I was showing you how deep the roots were, but also mentioning to you that I planted 2 and 3 other seeds in that same cup that could not live because of that one plant that had died. I had to take and uproot it and just remove all of it and replant the seeds so the seeds can live in a nourished and a healthy environment without being choked by something that is dead already. That's like anything in our life when something is no longer, and we still dealing with issues, and we still dealing with all the stuff that is really wrecking our life in the presence. Visually, when we see ourselves in the mirror, we see ourselves this person, which really you're not. You have plenty of life in you, but you don't realize it because that one plant that you see, that you seeing, that you think that you're seeing, just uproot that and move out the way, because there's so much in you that is planted that's trying to come out and live so that you can have a flourished and a plush life. And it is so important. And I know during my time in my course of my life, I used to hear people saying, you can't just kill the plant. You can't just destroy and move this out of your way, and you have to uproot it. You have to find out where's the root and just uproot all of it so it will not stay there, because roots, they grow deep and they gravitate on anything that is around it. And so if anything that's healthy around that one dead item in your life, it's going to choke out the good stuff. And it's so important as we go forward that you understand that what is dead, what is obsolete, what is not, what is appearing. You just walking around like, people saying you're walking around like a zombie. I don't want to use zombie because right now they use that word and it's a derogatory word. But what is it that you're walking around and it's just not working? Uproot it. Whether it be a situation, whether it be clothes that you're no longer wearing anymore. I'm giving an example of something that, that's really practical. If you're not wearing clothes anymore, just remove it, give it away so that it can make room for new clothing. I know maybe this is a bad example, but that's the reason why I gave you the video, so you can understand what it means when you need to uproot things. Because if you do that, the other seeds, the other parts of you that is vital, that has life, that can flourish, that can manifest, can live and come out to be vibrant for your life. So it's very important that you know that. But if you don't know that, think about what is in your life that appears to be dead and manifestations, all you may need to do is recognize it and just uproot it. Because as I stated, nature and humans are pretty much, we operate the same way. When we talk about practical things, sowing seeds and blessings people and manifestations and working your garden, working your life so that you may have something to be proud of. I wanted to really go into this today because when I was doing my replanting my vegetable garden this weekend, I was so excited about sharing this with you because every one of us have seeds that is still in us. We didn't just come with just one seed, one plant, one manifestation, one talent, one this, one that. There's so many things that is in us that can live just a full life that can bless not just your life, but bless others. But it cannot do that if you have things that is in appearance and is dead and obsolete. That means a lot of times you may have to change environments. A lot of times you may have to change churches. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, and let me talk to you about churches too. And I know a lot of people are dedicated to that one church. I have been members to a many churches, but it's almost like going to school. Now that I don't want to go too deep into this because I don't want to come off offensive, but as I was growing in my life, I have become members of different churches, not because there was anything wrong with the church, but because that season in my life was over and it was time for another place to dwell. Okay. This is in my younger years. And I remember going from one place. But that could happen. And sometimes that won't happen. I was just giving an example of when you outgrow a place or when something is no longer relevant in your life, it can appear dead. It can appear dead, but the roots of it is choking the new vibrant things in your life. And you have to go again. And last week podcast, you have to go and listen to it because I talked about environments and atmospheres, but giving an example of that. But if you will understand that anything that is in your life that needs to be uprooted so that the other parts of your life can flourish, that is something you may want to take inventory on in your personal life, not to share with anyone else, but just sit down and see, is there anything that I need to uproot so the rest of my life and the rest of me can flourish? Because like I stated, in nature, when a dead tree or a dead plant in the surface of manifestations, it still has a lot of roots. And those roots can be strong enough to choke the other seeds. And the seeds may not grow or may not appear above ground for manifestations. That is something that can happen in your personal life. You have to evaluate, take inventory of your life all the time. We try to do that every year. Some people do it every 3 months, every quarter. Some do it every 6 months. Some may do it every 2 years. However, your life should have momentum. Your life should have movement. You should not have a life that is at a standstill. If your life seems to be at a standstill, it may be time to take root to find out what has manifested that is dead and that is dying, that is no more. And I want you to know that your heart reveals those things. You don't need anybody to tell you what is dead. You don't need anyone to tell you what you don't supposed to be doing this and don't supposed to be doing that. Let me tell you, your heart is penetrated enough to let you know what is and what's not, what is alive and what's dead, what should be and what's not, what is the future and what is not the future. Your heart You are built that way. Like I stated, like the plant is built that way. The other two seeds that was in that cup was flourishing. It was already taking root, but it was also surrounded by deep roots from the plant that was above ground that died. I had to uproot all of it, take it out of that soil because the soil was nurturing. The soil was good soil. Let me tell you something. You are good soil. Anything that is planted in you is good soil. But if you don't uproot that is obsolete and dead, that obsolete thing and that dead thing will choke out the seed that is trying to live, trying to come out to manifestations in your life and to flourish, to bless you, to cause your life to be a joyful moment, to cause your life to be in a happy place and creative place. But you got to find out what is choking your other seeds. Like I stated, if you know, in the other podcast, the show, I talked about how environments can kill something because of the coldness. And yes, there may have been plans that been in your life, but the environment that you have been in has been cold. But let me tell you something. The seeds that I planted in that one cup, they were all the same manifestations. Okay? So that one thing that has manifested at the time in your life and the atmosphere killed it does not mean that the other two seeds that are the same seed is not going to come back out into the fruition of your life, and it's still going to bless you. The timing was off because of the cold season. So don't put your dreams aside. Maybe it's going to come out another time. God is so amazing with all of us. He wants you to know that the soil that you have, which is you, is good soil because he lives there and he is good soil. But his word for your life will manifest. Okay? It's going to come back and it's going to manifest. And it's going to have fruits and vegetables, and it's going to have good tidings. It's going to have good blessings. It's going to end up being the best thing ever for your life. But you got to find out what is in your life, what has the cold season killed that one plant that's manifested, uprooted, move on. Just know that the seeds are all the things that you have learned, the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding, the interactions with relationships, the hurts and the joys of relationships. Those are seeds from the seeds that you've sown, far as the creativity that you want to do in your life. Don't put your dreams aside because they are there for you to make it happen. But they're not going to die if you continue. Just remove what killed the cold that was out and just start all over again. Because I'm telling you, it will work. It will happen. You know more now. You understand more about what is in you. You're more mature. You've graduated. You have life graduations where you are knowledgeable about things. You are understanding that to watch your environment, watch the coldness, to nurture this, to speak to this, lacking negativity in your life. All these things plays a part with the seeds that you've sown. But I'm telling you guys, that video taught me a lot about dead things will choke the good things in your life. So you want to move on and move out of the things that is choking the things that are good in your life, and so that you can live a flourished and beautiful life, okay? But this is all I want to talk to you all about today. The podcast is going to be the show is going to be short today, and it's not going to be too long, but I wanted to just get to the depth of the discussion so that you can start out this week with uprooting things. And yes, our show is early for this week because I could not wait until Thursday to give this to you. I wanted to give it to you today. So this is all I want to talk to you all about today. And again, our show is called There is Life in You. Yes, there is plenty of life in you. And I want you to dust all that other stuff off, uproot all the dead things that appear and allow that the seeds that are trying to flourish and trying to have validity in your life, so it can come out and do what it needs to do for you and for your environment. Okay, this is all I have for you today. This is your girl Sonia Buchanan with the Sonia Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Listen, you guys, I want you to have a great week. See you next week.
Oh my God, I gotta tell you, I was having a moment and I decided to surf the net. And that's when I came across this website called Comforting Promises, which is a great website, by the way. And get this, on the website was a featured book called The Journey by Sonia Buchanan that was recently published. So I immediately downloaded the ebook on Kindle because it talked about, having faith for your life purpose. And let me tell you, the book is super great. I was so motivated to get back into the game, pursuing my goals. And you got to get the book because it's worth the read.
Thank you for joining our podcast today. The podcast was produced and edited by Sonia Buchanan. For more information about the host, you can go to soniabuchanan.com. For information about Comforting Promises broadcast community, you can go to comfortingpromises.com.